If your kids don't have a person that they can look to and say, I can respect that from my parent, they're going to be able to look at you as a pushover. I want to talk about co-parenting. This is something that a lot of us do today, especially in this time, in this economy, in this atmosphere that we're in right now. A lot of us like co-parent. And along with co-parenting, a lot of us deal with anxiety of being away from our kids, not having a family that we had before because it's broken up. There's nothing wrong with that. Like at the end of the day, you know what I mean, a lot of us have to be able to cope with that. And a lot of us, including me, sometimes look at life sometimes as if like you did something wrong. But in actuality, you probably did not do anything wrong because at the end of the day, a lot of times you have to you have to adjust. You have to learn to adjust to your new life. And when you adjust to your new life, you also have to realize that when you co-parenting, you got to be the better you, the better self for your kids. And I'm talking about spending time with them, not trying to penalize yourself and think that you have to buy all these things because you're not there every day. Um, just be there. And the thing is, one thing I could say about co-parenting with me, I might not have the same, I might not go through the same thing that some people are going through. Like some people don't see their kids. I split. I see my kid every every week. It's not a day I don't see my kid. Same thing, vice versa with the mom. We not on bad terms. We respect each other. Things are rocky in the beginning when you first break up because, you know, we deal with bitterness. Um, Not me, but I'm just saying, some of us deal with bitterness because you're not together no more. Some of us deal with the lack of not being able to see your kid when you're home just like that. But you still have to be the better you. And I could just speak on my case. My case, I don't go through that. So I'm grateful for that. But this is a message for the fellas, I guess moms too. But I know a lot of fellas deal with this. A lot of times, fellas, we have a hard time dealing with things like this because we don't know how to really understand how to cope with not seeing our kids every day. And I could tell you this, you have to fight for them, but at the same time, I can't give you advice on you going through custody issues. I don't go through that. We have an understanding. We don't go back and forth. And I think that comes from respect. But I can say this, if you already have a relationship where you was not getting respect, you was not receiving respect, I can't really give you advice on that. Reason why is because respect is something that you have to make people have for you. And I'm talking about the way you receive the type of energy from them. If you never let them know that that's not going to be tolerated, then a lot of times those are going to be behaviors that are going to go unchecked. And that's one thing that I never lived by. I come from a different era. I don't tolerate disrespect. So at the end of the day, people only play with people that they can play with. And this is something that your kids are really going to gravitate to. If your kids don't have a person that they can look to and say, I can respect that from my parent, they're going to be able to look at you as a pushover. They can push you over. They can call you just for money, just for toys. That's not a trait that you want to have. You don't want to have that trait. And I see that trait that runs rampant in relationships with people's kids when they are not with their kids all the time. They tend to be the person that they call when they want something. You don't ever want your kid to have a foundation off of just calling you when they want something. Because if they do that, they're no longer looking at you as their parent. They're looking at you as a cash cow. It's the same thing as having a relationship with somebody. They look at you just for cash, you're going to just be for cash, which means you are disposable. You never want to be a disposable parent. You want to be a parent that's loving, but also a parent that actually does things with their kids. And I'm going to say this just for men, because I see this a lot. When I'm out with my son, I see mostly women. And I get it. But I do see men, some. And when I tell you, it is a smile, because one thing about men, when we see other men with their kids and we walking past each other, yo, it feels so gratifying. Like it's not even weird. It just feels good. We be like, yo, what's up, man? And then we just make small talk and keep it moving. We ain't just sitting there talking about nothing, making up stuff just to talk about. We like, yo, what's going on? Like I went to the car show. What was it? A couple weeks ago. And it's wild because me and my son walking around NY and we just chilling. It's a normal because this is what me and my son do. We always taking rides. We always doing stuff. He know nothing different. And that's where you don't want to make a mistake at. You don't want to do something so different than what you used to do before. If you start off right, you ain't got to do right. And that's something that I end up not knowing. It was just in me to be a father. That's being a father. Being a father is just not taking care of your family. Being a father to me today is actually spending time doing things, not with both parents. You ain't gotta be both parents. Yo, dads have to spend valuable time with their kids by themselves. Men have to restructure that old mentality. If you look at the old mentality of the father just goes out and he does all the hard labor, come home, bring his check back, and then he goes back out the house. Come back, bring the check back. You ever notice the stories that people say about their fathers back then? You ever notice that they never talk about the things that they remember with their dad? They just talk about, yo, how hard of a worker he was. You don't always want to just be remembered just by work. You want to be remembered by work and also memories. We got to start making special memories. And I'm talking about real special memories where your kid can look up and say, Dad, remember this? And you're looking like, damn, oh, wait a minute, we did that? That means you did so many things with your kid. You got so many memories to the point you thinking of a different memory. They got other memories to them that's more important. And you just sitting back smiling like, damn, that's crazy. I didn't even know we did that. But it make you smile because I was looking back at some pictures of me and my son we went somewhere. I forgot where we went, but we was far out somewhere. And it was just me and him. And he had ice cream on his nose in the picture. And I just fell out laughing. He was like, Dad, I remember that. We was such and such. And I'm like, damn. And then when I said, damn, we was there? And then he said, remember, you made me, he said, remember I was crying because I was acting a fool? Yo, he said he was acting a fool because I was like, when he's acting crazy sometimes, I said, oh, you just going to act like a damn fool right now? It's time for us to go. And when I say it's time for us to go, he know right then and there I'm not playing with him or something going to happen. He knows, yo, when I say stop acting crazy when we somewhere and you start acting crazy, I ain't going to tear you up right then and there. When I look at you and I give you that grip, every man knows that I'm talking about that's a father. It's that grip. That grip where your kid know, oh, damn, this hurt. Okay, Dad not playing. And he remembered that and said, Dad, I knew right then and there I wasn't going to play no more because I didn't get a chance to go to the park. And when we left the park, that's what it was. It was the park. We was at the park, and I said, stop acting crazy while you up in the park. Like he was just acting like he ain't have no sense. I said, oh, you want to play? You want to play? And this came from, like, this is the thing you're going to go through. When your kid is with the mom and then they with dad, they act different. But sometimes your kid can go a little off balance. And when I say off balance, they start thinking I can act crazy like I do with the other parent. And then they got to get a reminder. And that's what it was. It was a reminder. But he ended up losing his privilege that day going to the park. And man, when I tell you he cried, but when we got to the car, yeah. Let's just say we got to understand it now. He knows now. And now he'll be 7. We don't go through that no more. No more. I can take him places when he about to be like sad, like I don't want to leave. I look at him one time. He said, okay, all right. But he hurt, but he knows how to act. He knows how to conduct himself properly. And that's the thing about being a father out here. So if you worry about being a father and dealing with like the custody issues and stuff like that, these are things that you don't want to prepare yourself for, but you definitely want to always keep that in the back of your memory Rolodex of how things are in life. And a lot of times this is how things kind of play out. Not to say that you hope for it, but I'm gonna be real with you, man. You can't live on hope. A lot of times in hope, you end up having failure. And you don't want to have a failure like that. You want to always be optimistic, but always have it deep down in the back of your mental Rolodex that if things do go bad, you already have that relationship with your kids. That if it does go, you're still able to have that same relationship as if when things break apart. You're going to pick them up, they know nothing no different. They know they seeing daddy. It's the problem when they never see daddy already, when they was already all in the same household. And then all of a sudden now you're spending valuable time with them at a certain point, and they're not gonna know how to be acceptive of that. And the reason why is because they never did it before. It's not the thing that you was a bad dad. It's just that you never spent real valuable time. So if you don't spend real valuable time with your kids, this is the thing that you're gonna have a shortcomings in. Trust and believe. Talk to the men. Believe me, if any man is watching this video, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. They're gonna be like, damn, I did that. And they'll be like, yo, I had to make some changes. Because the way you look at being a man sometimes is way off. We way off because our testosterone, our ego, we tend to think that we gotta make sure everybody good. But the problem is, we go through this world thinking that we gotta make sure everybody good. But what ends up happening is, when we left out to dry, we the ones sitting there looking stupid. Like, damn, I done did all this and it's no reward. It's not. I tell you right now, I don't care what you think about life, I don't care what you feeling. It is no reward to not put yourself on a pedestal, to think about yourself. Because if you don't think about yourself, that means you're not gonna know what's going on with your well-being. You gotta make sure your money is where it need to be. You gotta make sure nobody can really go in your account and drain you dry. We see many men get their accounts drained dry. And that's one thing that I made sure in life, that I would never, ever allow someone to have that type of access to me. A lot of us are trained so backwards. We are trained to put our all into areas. So when someone do us dirty, they able to run through us and bleed us dry because we had nothing to fall back on. Men got to restructure the way we think today, all right? And I'm calling out men right now. When I say I'm calling out, I'm not calling you lame because we ain't lames. We stand up. But a lot of our stand-up viewpoints got to also be in the perspective of putting us first. Because if we put us first, we're able to see with a clear view of what we're doing and what's going on and be able to protect ourselves better. All right? Salute.